All right. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is Twin Flames Unite. We're at it again. And if you don't know by now, I'm Chris.
And I'm Leisha.
What up? What's going on, everybody? Yo, we are on week 4. Yeah, week 4. Here we go.
Moving right along.
All right. Now, today, one of the things that we're going to cover is really going to be some foundational things that have to do with the laws that govern this particular plane that we're on. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because this is going to be some foundational stuff so that you won't work against yourself when it comes to your magic. Mm-hmm. Because we have to understand that there are just certain laws that things are just, it just is what it is.
Whether we believe it or not, mm-hmm. It's just happening. Mm-hmm. And so it's best to acknowledge the things that are happening so things don't happen to you accidentally. Right. So that's what we're going to cover today.
Yeah, because we want you to live your life on purpose.
Exactly. Live your best life now.
All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get right into it.
Let's do this. Y'all ready?
All right. Boom.
Okay.
All right. So just starting things out here. Now don't be fooled by just having 2 topics that we're covering.
Well, yeah, it's going to go in. We're going in.
All right. Because first things first is that we're going to go back a little bit more to the basics and cover the 7 Hermetic principles, because these are some things that you definitely have to consider when you are working your magic, mm-hmm. whether that's cooking dinner or trying to fulfill a goal, whatever it is, mm-hmm. you have to understand that these laws play a huge part in whether or not they're successful or not.
Right.
Okay. And then we're going to go a little bit deeper into some occult laws.
Right. And keep in mind, they don't need our permission. Mm-hmm. It just is. All right.
Right. Okay. And we have this quote to start out with. Mind reading that for us, sweetheart?
Yes, lovely quote, okay? When working with the universal laws, you are working with the laws of manifestation, okay? Not instant gratification. I think that's something that we really need to keep in mind. I know a lot of people, they say, oh, the law of attraction doesn't work for me, or the law of attraction didn't work for me. That's because we're actually missing the other laws.
Yeah.
When it comes to the law of attraction. Right? That's just a very small part of it. Mm-hmm. Okay. And we're going to get into the other parts that actually help that to work.
Yes. All right. So let's get into it. So first off, we have the 7 Hermetic principles. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're not familiar with our boy Toph, we definitely recommend that you look him up. He is a very important entity. An important energy signature that you definitely need to make sure that you're aware of, because you can tap into that energy as well. But let's go ahead and get into it. So we have 7 principles that we're going to go through and break down real quickly. And then we're going to get into the occult laws, because we know that y'all are pretty adept students.
Of course.
And so y'all know about these 7 Hermetic principles, but just to make sure we're covering all bases, let's jump into them. Right? And boom.
Right. So the first one, we have the principle of mentalism. Everything is mind. Everything is mental. Okay. Mm-hmm. The all is mind. The universe is mental. All the phenomenal world or universe is simply a mental creation of the all, subject to the laws of created things, and that the universe and in its parts or units has its existence in the mind of the all, in which mind we live and move and have our beings, right? Mm-hmm. This principle, by establishing the mental nature of the universe, easily explain all of the very mental and psychic phenomena that occupy such a large portion of the public attention, and which, without such explanation, are non-understandable and defy scientific treatment.
Yes.
Okay? So pretty much when science don't understand something, they call it meta, which means high or beyond their understanding or comprehension.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Now, as far as the part when it said here about the how it can easily explain all of the varied mental and psychic phenomena that occur on such a large portion of the public attention. So when we're talking about on the mental, we're talking about how this iPhone got here, right? Oh, this is an Android, right? So in somebody, so in Steve Jobs' mind, he had the idea of the iPhone. Let me put two-way pagers. What's the other thing? I forgot. The
BlackBerry.
The BlackBerry and the house phone and the computer. Let me put it all in one device.
And a camera too, and a camera.
And a camera. All in one device. Like nobody has like, hold on, you crazy. Hold on, you gonna have the camera, texting, internet, all of that? Come on now.
Right.
But it all existed up here and he was able to manifest it.
Right.
Now, as far as the psychic phenomenon, let's just say for those who have telekinesis, yes. When they want to move an object, they have to think of it first in their mind, like, hold on, I want to move this. Like, just imagine this phone is floating, y'all. Let's just say with my mind, I want to make this phone float, right? I have to do it in my mind first in order for it to even float.
Right. And then you have to tell yourself, there is no phone.
There is no phone.
There is no phone.
Okay. So, boom, that's the first principle. Everything is mental.
Everything.
Okay. Whether you want to believe it or not, it is.
All right. So the next one we have is the principle of correspondence. I think everybody is familiar with this one. As above, so below. As below, so above. This principle embodies the truth that there is always a correspondence between the laws and phenomena of the various planes of being and life. The old Hermetic axiom ran in these words: as above, so below. As below, so above. And the grasping of this principle gives one the means of solving many a dark paradox and hidden secret of nature. There are planes beyond our knowing, but when we apply the principle of correspondence to them, we can understand much that would otherwise be unknowable to us. This principle is of universal application and manifestation. On the various planes of the material, mental, and spiritual universe, it is a universal law. Okay?
Yes. So now with that particular law, now this is actually one that's going to be touched on the occult laws that we're going to get into. But just to give a little bit more of a demonstration, it's just understanding this law of correspondence means that because the other parts of this say as above, so below, as within, so without. So if there is anything inside of us, it's going to reflect out of us. Okay. If there's anything above us, it's going to correspond below.
Right.
Like, for example, going back to this phone, because this phone existed in a sphere all the way up here, like, see, you can't see it up here.
Oh, my.
But it existed up here, so it had to exist down here.
Right. And that's something important to remember in magic. It's really, really important. It builds your confidence in magic to know as above, so below. Another thing that a lot of us, or some people, don't really realize what it really means as above, so below is when we're talking about the planetary alignments. The planetary alignments do affect us. That's the as above, so below. So it's really important because they're energy bodies. Right? And so it's really important to really understand how does that affect us on an energetic level? How is a full moon going to affect me on an energetic level? How does the sun, which is full of energy, a solar, okay, it's solar, and you're a solar being. So how does that affect me? How can I use that to my advantage, right? Learning how to sun gaze, right? As above, so below. So there are plenty of things that we can do to really expound upon who we are.
Yes.
Once we expound upon who we are, then we can navigate these waters differently.
Yep. So as above,
so below.
Just expand that out. Okay. When you expand that out and bring it in, you'll see how it all makes sense.
It all comes together.
All right. Now, this next one here is our law of vibration.
Yes, the principle of vibration, guys. Nothing is at rest. Everything moves, everything vibrates. The principle embodies the truth that everything is in motion. Not even this thing that we have here. This is moving. It even has a color. Okay, it is not still. Everything vibrates. Nothing is at rest. Facts with modern science endorses, and which each new scientific discovery tends to verify.
Yep, every time.
This is not woo. You look under the microscope, it's going to be moving.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's a desk or a chair.
Doesn't matter if it's a rock.
It does not matter.
It's
okay.
moving.
This principle explains that the differences between different manifestation of matter, energy, mind, and even spirit, yes, spirit, results largely from varying rates of vibration. So it's different rates of vibration, okay, from the all, which is pure spirit, down to the grossest form of matter. All is in vibration. The higher the vibration, the higher the position in the scale.
Yes.
So in manifestation, if you would like for your manifestation to be assisted, it works better to be in higher vibrations. Okay, because low vibration is sluggish, it's slow, it takes a little longer.
And you know, I got a little bit of a download this afternoon because I sat down outside to sunbathe, really, because the sun was just too high for me to sun gaze at, right? So I was like, let me just sit here and let me just take in these sun rays and just let it heat up my body. And one of the things that occurred to me is that I now know why sunbathing is a high vibrational act. Either sun gazing or sunbathing, either one is a high vibrational act. Because think about this. Let's just go back to basic science, right? When you have water that is frozen, the molecules are moving slower, right? So they stay moving, but they like this,
slow,
right? But then as they start to melt, you know, they move a little bit more, raise the temperature, they move a little bit more. So it means that they're vibrating more. Even when you get to the point to where you boil the water, then it's like all over the place. So when you are sitting underneath the sun, right, and you're letting that warmth hit you, it is speeding up your molecules that are inside of your body. So as a natural result, on a scientific level, that is the reason why you have more energy, because you got more things firing off, you know, so.
Just a fun fact.
Yeah, just a fun fact. All right. Well, let's get into the next one.
So the next one is the principle of polarity. All right. Everything is dual. This principle embodies the truth that everything is dual. Everything has two poles. Everything has its pair of opposites, all of which were old Hermetic axioms. It explains the old paradoxes that have perplexed so many, which have been stated as follows. Thesis and antithesis are identical in nature, but different in degrees. Now pay attention to this one. Opposites are the same, just different only in degree. The pairs of opposites may be reconciled, extremes meet. Everything is and isn't at the same time. All truths are but half truths. Every truth is half false. There are two sides of everything, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
So you definitely want to keep that in mind when you're doing your magic. Yes,
because this is actually another one that's going to overlap a little bit when we get to the occult law, and you'll see why. But this is something that you really, really need to pay attention to, because it is going to help you out tremendously in whatever you're trying to accomplish in your life.
Exactly.
All right. So next part is, let me get it up. Boom. The principle of rhythm.
Yes.
Okay. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tide. All things rise and fall. Okay. This is one of the things where you have to understand your seasons, because everything has a rhyme and reason. Everything has a rise and a fall, and so do you. Okay. This principle embodies the truth that in everything there is manifested a measured motion to and fro, a flow and an inflow. a swing backwards and forward, a pendulum-like movement, a tide-like ebb and flow. Y'all following along so far?
Mm-hmm.
A high tide and a low tide between the two poles which exist in accordance with the principle of polarity described a moment ago. There is always an action and a reaction. There is always an action and a reaction,
Mm-hmm.
okay? An advance and a retreat,
Mm-hmm.
a rising and a sinking. This is the affairs of the universe, sun, worlds, men, animals, mind, energy, and even matter,
Mm-hmm.
okay? This law is manifested in the creation and destruction of worlds, okay? So once again, we're talking about the principle of rhythm. Now, this may be a little bit deeper than what you all may have been accustomed to,
Mm-hmm.
but we're just really driving it home because this law is manifested in the creation
Mm-hmm.
and destructions of worlds,
Yeah.
in the rise and falls of nations, in the life of all things,
Mm-hmm.
and finally in the mental states of men. And it is with this latter that the Hermeticists find the understanding of this principle most important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
so this principle of rhythm is one to really pay attention to because this is how let's just take it to the stock market, right? This is how people know when to buy and when to sell
Mm-hmm.
because they understand the rhythm of the market. There's a rhythm of the market. There's a rhythm in nation. And that's actually, wasn't that a group, Rhythm Nation? Janet Jackson. Okay. But yeah,
You're silly.
yeah, but everything has a rhythm.
Yeah.
We have spring, summer, winter, spring, summer, fall, and winter.
Mm-hmm.
Spring, summer, fall, and winter. They all
Right.
follow that same pattern.
And you have to know your season. You have, and this is all going to make sense when we get a little further.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to know your season so that your magic is effective. Because when we do things out of season, that's when things don't really go like how we plan it to go. It's kind of like planting. You know, gardening teaches us a lot about ourselves. There are certain crops that can only be grown early in the springtime. You know, certain crops can only be grown in the wintertime, and certain crops can only grow and do well in the summertime. We are the same way energetically.
Yes.
So there are certain feats that it won't be advisable for us to take up depending on what cycle we are in. Okay. So this is when it comes to man, know thyself.
Yes.
We have to know ourselves even on an energetic level, especially on an energetic level, so that we are operating within our cycles and our seasons to assist our manifestation even more. All right. So that's how we apply that to us in our magic, is definitely knowing our season and our cycles and use it to our advantage.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right.
Gotta know it. Gotta know it.
Gotta know your season.
Gotta know it. All right. Now, this next one is a fun one for me. I don't know. It's a little comical. You got this one?
Yeah. This is a little funny. The principle of cause and effect. Everybody knows this one. You slap somebody, they might slap you right back. Okay. Or they might not. Either way, it's a cause and effect, right? Mm-hmm. Every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. The principle embodies the fact that there is a cause for every effect, an effect from every cause. It explains that everything happens according to law, that nothing ever merely happens, that there is no such thing as chance, that while there are various planes of cause and effect, the higher dominating the lower planes, still nothing ever entirely escapes the law. And this is very, very true, whether we are aware of it or not. All right.
Yeah.
See this little picture right here?
You got the cause, you out there lighting a fire to the house, and the effect. Now you got the whole house on fire. And here's the thing with cause and effect, is that this is where time comes into play. Okay. Now, in some of the things that we have gone over this past week, and some of the things we're going to go into further on, is going to show you how you can actually bypass time. All right. But let's just keep this in mind here. Let's just stay focused for a moment and understand the thing about cause and effect. Okay. This is a moment where you really have to put on your big girl or your big boy pants, right?
Mm-hmm.
And understand that nothing in your life just happened.
No.
There was something that came along that started a domino effect. And I remember this from the conversation you had with one of the kids, which is that our life is just nothing but an accumulation of our choices. So every choice that we have made from the time that we came out the womb, because we decided to come out the womb, because there are some children who's like, no, you got to pull me out, right? So since the time we came into existence, we have been making decisions, and those decisions have created our personality, what we are experiencing. So everything has a cause and effect. If you get fat, you probably ate too much.
Right.
Okay.
Don't be talking about I'm big bone.
Don't even do it.
Don't do that. Come on.
Don't say it's in my DNA. No, it is not in your DNA. If you are in this class, you know that you can bypass all of that.
Right.
Epigenetics.
Right. And this is our goal. Our goal is to really acknowledge this universal law, cause and effect, so we can evolve from the state of cause and effect on accident to cause and an effect.
Yep.
All right. We're going to be cause and effects.
Yeah. There you
right?
go.
We're going to we will cause it to happen. Okay. So this is where we want to move to. All right. Move out of that accidental cause and effect into causing and effect.
Yes.
All right.
There you go. Hope you caught that.
Yeah.
Hope you caught that. We're going to be causing an effect.
Which means we're going to be living on purpose. We are living on purpose.
All right. Now, this next one, I know it won't be for y'all, but for some people, it may be a little touchy because this is whole thing with gender. But hey,
come on, man. We're doing magic now.
Let's get into it.
This is energetic. Okay? This is not a part of the matrix. So the principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Whether we want to, you can't cancel gender. Sorry, guys.
No, you can't.
Everything, gender is in everything, and everything has its masculine and feminine principles. We're talking energetic now.
Yes.
All right. This principle embodies the truth that there is gender manifested in everything. The masculine and feminine principles ever at work. They're always at work. This is true not only of physical plane, but of the mental and even the spiritual planes. On the physical plane, the principle manifests as sex, right? So in the higher planes, we have sex, but when it comes down into this incarnate, this particular lower matter realm, it looks like sex, right? Sexual exchange of energy, right? And on the higher planes, it takes a higher form. So it looks different on the higher plane, but the principle is ever the same. No creation, physical, pay attention to that, physical, mental, or spiritual is possible without these principles.
Yes. Okay.
So you need this particular principle of gender in order for you to have a manifestation from the higher planes to the lower planes.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about it. Even when you were just an embryo in your mommy's belly, right? There was a point before you developed different sexual parts, whether you got the male parts or you got the female parts. There was a point where you were both,
right? Because
you were in a higher plane,
right?
And the crazy part is, if you think about it, if you're really on this occult level, that was in the dwarf world, the quantum world. In the quantum world, because you were smaller, you were almost the size of an atom at one point, right? And even atoms, because they have negative and positive sides.
Right.
That's masculine and feminine energies. So we can't escape this.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
You got all these people out here talking about they this and this, that. And like at one point you were all of it. So just accept all of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But hey, this is just for our website.
Yeah.
We put this out here.
When we come into the lower planes, we actually, whichever one of the genders come through, that's what we're going to manifest as. Sometimes, in some rare cases, they have both.
Yeah.
Right. But for the most part, it's just one that manifests itself, and you're predominant that energetic signature, or the masculine or feminine.
Right.
But when we up on the higher planes, we both.
Yes. Now, we're about to get into some of the occult law stuff. Okay. Now, to help illustrate these laws a little bit better, we're going to start off with a little story.
Yes.
It's story time. I wish I had some effects.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to put some effects in if I can. We'll see. I don't know. But,
how's that?
All right. You want to read a story?
Yes, I like story time.
All right. So we got story time, y'all.
Yes,
Here we go.
Time for a little story,
All right.
This one is called A Rag Picker, right? There was a young man who lived in Paris many, many years ago who came from a family of rag pickers. That is, he made a living by picking over the piles of Paris garbage and salvaging anything usable. But from what we know of the French and their thrifty habits, we would say that the pickings were slim indeed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like some people who really know how to be resourceful.
Right.
Slim picking. So this young man attracted the attention of a person who was versed in occult art. And this person decided to help the young man. He gave the young man a manuscript and told him to study and practice the knowledge contained therein. And this young man did. The manuscript contained directions explaining the art of creative visualization, or as it was called in the manuscript, getting things through thinking. After reading and studying the knowledge contained in the manuscript, the young man decided he would attempt to practice the great art. Okay, now this part is apparently very important, so listen up to this part.
Listen up.
All right. The young man decided for his first visualization attempt that the first thing he really needed was a small piece of carpet to put beside his bed to protect his feet from the cold stone floor where he got out of bed in the morning. He proceeded to visualize for a piece of carpet, and in a short course of time, a woman gave him a piece of carpet.
Okay.
Look at that.
Now, just pay attention because a lot of what we're about to talk about is covered in this story. Mm-hmm. So just remember just this simple thing. You got this rag picker who was literally in poor, like dirt poor, okay, during these times. And he just wanted this one simple thing. He didn't want to be a millionaire. He just wanted a piece of carpet to keep his feet from being cold in the morning. Okay. And so the other part about this is that once this young man understood what happened, he started to acquire more things, even to the point that in that times, he was able to get like hundreds of francs and lived very wealthy afterwards. Okay. And so because he understood this occult art that we're about to get into, which is the visualization and actually the laws that go around visualization, because remember last week we were talking about imagination, right? And so with these laws, you're now going to have in your back pocket and actually being able to lay a strong foundation so that you can really take your imagination to a whole nother level.
That's right.
Okay. So let's get into it because I know y'all are anxious. Y'all are just ready for this information. So let's get into it. So here's a quick breakdown of the laws that we're going to go into. We have physical visualization, the occult techniques of physical vision. Oh,
it's a lot of
it's the P's and the P's.
Physical visualization.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then we're going to talk about the occult law of the spirit availability, which is one that is
when we got that.
Oh my gosh.
I think when that hit home for us, that's what made all the difference, the sphere of availability.
Yes. And then we're going to go into limitation, binding, the barrier, the treasure chart, emotions, and then the reversal of planes. All right. So boom, let's get into it, y'all, because this is going to be some good stuff right here.
Yeah.
All right. So boom, the first one, the occult law of physical visualization. And actually, I do apologize. It's actually 8. The first one was taken out because it was a little bit redundant because it's the same thing. For a creative visualization to be successful, the first thing necessary is for the operator, which means you, the operator to mentally create a visual mental picture of the thing or circumstances wanted. Okay, that's the first step. Very first step. This kind of mental visualization, visual creation, the average person cannot do easily, but unless this mental action, but unless this mental creation is done, the creative visualization work cannot proceed to be a successful conclusion.
Facts.
Okay.
Copy.
So this goes into a little bit of the law of the secret law of manifestation. We're talking about law of attraction 101. Mm-hmm. If you cannot visualize it, it cannot work. Mm-hmm. You can say all the affirmations and things of that nature, like I am a millionaire, but if you can't see yourself as a millionaire, then it's not something, because you have to think about it. Going back to the 7 Hermetic principles, law of correspondence, as above, so below. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't exist up here, which is in your imagination, it can't be down here.
So yes, guys, yes. Mm-hmm. And this works. Like for the longest, I've been saying, I'm going to get a car. Mm. I'm going to get a car. Mm. And I'm like, why is it taking me so long to get a car? Then I realized, hold on, wait a minute. I hadn't even done anything. I hadn't did anything physical. I hadn't really thought about it. I hadn't pictured what color I wanted. I did none of these things. I'm just saying, oh, I'm going to get a car. I'm going to get a car. Mm-hmm. And one night I'm laying in my bed. I'm like, you know what? Forget this. I'm going to get a car. And I went online and I looked up the car and I said I wanted a white car. Mm-hmm. And I looked for a white car, white SUV. And then I'm like, okay. And then I started seeing myself in the car, and I started, picturing it in the driveway. And I started creating these pictures, these visualizations. And after I started doing that, that's when I started seeing these white SUVs drive past. Mm-hmm. Right after I said my affirmations, I'm seeing the SUV white ones. And I'm like, hold up, I never really paid attention to these white SUVs before. I'm like, okay, I'm onto something here. Mm-hmm. And so I went ahead and, made little things happen, paperwork, and boom, just like that, it happened. Got approved and everything, just like that. Mm-hmm. So
they already shipping the car.
So it's just like, wow, to go from not visualizing to visualizing made a huge difference.
Yes.
Huge difference.
Huge.
And then, I didn't have the negative self-talk because, I already dealt with the subconscious.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that part next. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you about that subconscious and the other part that didn't play a role in destroying the visualization, because that happens to us also.
Yes.
And we're going to get into that.
Yeah. We're not going to leave y'all hanging.
Right.
We are not going to leave you hanging. All right. So now this next one, the sentence may be short, but believe me, it's not that short.
Oh yeah. This is a big one.
This one is a big one. Okay.
Biggie.
The occult law of the spirit of availability. Mm-hmm. Okay. One will attract what they are a vibrational match to.
And guys, this is science.
Okay.
This is really science. Whether it's meta science, metaphysics, regular science, it is just science. It is proven, tried and proven over and over again. Your sphere of availability. I'm telling you, this is what made all the sense to us.
Yes. Now let's go back to the rag picker, right? What did he ask for? He just got a manuscript from an occult teacher about how to attract things just through thinking. Mm-hmm. And so he could have asked for anything else.
Anything.
He could have asked for like $10,000 so that he could actually go and maybe even buy a whole rug to cover his whole apartment. But no, he asked for a piece of carpet. Okay. So in understanding the law of the spirit of availability, we have to understand that we have to, how can we say this?
Again, an example written.
Okay. So you have to understand that your ability, this is actually kind of leaking over into another one of the laws, is that you have to be a container of you have to be able to contain the thing in which you are looking to obtain. Okay. So, like I said, he could have asked for a bunch of other things. He could have asked for the money to actually pay to get his own piece of carpet. But who knows what would have happened when he got that money? He may have spent it on some food and then boom, now he ain't got no carpet because, he was hungry. Imagine back then only getting like a few francs and then you want to go and get a carpet when your stomach is rumbling. Come on now. So, but he had enough space in his room to handle that piece of carpet. Not anything bigger than that carpet, not anything too small to where just his toes was on it. No, the carpet was big enough to put his both feet on the carpet.
Right. And I have an example to explain how the sphere of availability works for us as humans, right? Now, keep in mind, we do have an electromagnetic field around us.
Yes.
This is how the sphere of availability works. It works according to your torus field, like your magnetic field. Okay. So I'm going to use a magnet as an example to explain this. Picture this is a magnet, right? You understand how magnet works, right? So let's say this is a magnet and this is attracted to the magnet, right? Okay. This is a sphere of availability, what you can attract, literally, right? And so the magnet, this is around the magnet, right? This whole thing is wrapped around the magnet. So the magnet actually got a little bit more in size, the magnet itself didn't get bigger because of the sphere of availability, its magnetic field, it was able to, you put this close enough, it'll latch on, right? And so if you got something else, let's say some paper clips, just imagine a piece of earring, what? Right. So you put it here and it's going to pull the thing that's around the magnet, right? And just imagine it keep going and going and going. The magnet is not going to get bigger, but because it's attracting so much, it will appear like it's getting bigger. That's the sphere of availability. That's like us. So when we start off with what we can attract and what we could contain, right? It's like a building block. So you operate from what you can contain, pretty much what you're able to contain until you grow and grow and grow, and your sphere of availability, it gets bigger.
Yes. And actually, I have one other story that actually helped illustrate this. And this is actually in one of the books that we're going to share with you all at the end. Okay. There was a department store salesman, right? He was one of the best salesmen in the company. Like he was outselling everybody. And a lot of times he would put in his application for an advancement to be one of the managers. Like he didn't want to be a salesman anymore. He wanted to be a manager, possibly an owner. But because he worked in this particular retail store that was a family-owned retail store, they weren't putting anybody as a manager or owner who wasn't family. And this guy was not family. Okay. But he still had all of the skills. He knew how to sell things. He could sell ice to an Eskimo, right? He was that good. But what happened was that he got tired of just being just a salesman at a company that just capped him out. So what he did was that he put out there that he wanted to have a better opportunity. And lo and behold, what happened was that there was another rival department store to the one that he was working for. And they had a management position open. And so because his spirit of availability, which means that he had the necessary tools, skills in order to be a manager over an entire department store. Once he put that order out to the universe, it's like, boom, there you go. Right in there. Because
he's operating within his sphere of availability. He has a container, which means that not only would he get it, but he would also be able to keep it. Because when you operate outside of your sphere of availability, sometimes you end up and you will attract that thing, but because you don't have that container, you would not be able to keep that particular thing or person.
Yes. So this is one of the occult laws that really, really need to be looked at carefully whenever you are putting out goals that you want to achieve, check your sphere of availability.
Right.
See if you can. It's like I think I had said this a few videos ago, which was that when we look to manifest a car, we didn't look to manifest a Bentley. Okay, because we don't live in a gated community. Because if we get a Bentley,
right,
and we don't live in a gated community,
right,
it's going to be there maybe for a day or two.
Right. So see, that's us not operating in the sphere of our availability.
Yes.
We could get it, but we'll be able to keep it, right? That's a whole nother thing. Yeah.
It's a whole nother ballpark. So you got to understand your sphere of availability. And I hope we did this justice, because this is something that you really, it takes some time to ponder on, but you will see once you start setting goals, you can think like, oh, because you have to step back outside of yourself and think, can I really handle this?
Right. Like really think about it, right? Like let's say you send out a request to the universe, you want this partner got to be rich. This partner have to be in shape. This partner has to have this type of talent, this partner. And you have all of these requests for this partner, right? But then let's say you did receive that partner. You're not in shape. You don't have a lot of money. You don't have any of those things that you're requesting from the universe. Do you think that you'll be able to keep that partner? No. See, same thing. You got to operate within your sphere of availability.
Yes.
Make sure that you're able to contain what you're manifesting.
Yes. And speaking of containing, let's go ahead and go right into the limitation. I'm going to let you go ahead and take this one away, sweetheart.
This is funny.
Yeah.
So the occult law of limitation. At the start of any magical operation, a limit must be set to designate the extent of what you want to accomplish in that particular operation. Unless you do this, you are going to have trouble in getting the forces to make the transition from the plane of force to the plane of form, and then stay put. Just exactly what we just explained. Because remember, it's coming from the plane of force into the plane of form, and all these different planes have different laws.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now, one thing to keep in mind when we're looking at this law of limitation and we're talking about setting goals, just like in the beginning, when you were setting up your goal to achieve, let's just say weight loss, right? You have to set a very clear beginning. Hold on, y'all. All right, we're back, y'all. So back to the occult law of limitation, right? Okay, what I was saying was that when you set your goal, let's just say if it's weight loss, okay? You have to set a clear goal in the beginning that, yes, I want to lose weight. But then you have to set a limit. I want to lose 30 pounds, okay? Because if you don't set that limit, you can get to a point where you're anorexic and you lost like 100 pounds.
I did that before.
Okay. Or you may lose like 5 pounds.
Right.
How many of y'all have been there before? You set a goal to lose weight, say I'm going to lose 30 pounds or anything like that. Right. But the thing is that it wasn't clear cut like it was in the beginning, because you had this emotion, which we're going to get into in a minute, that was really tied to you losing the weight in the beginning. Right. But then, actually, this is a bunch of laws that's about to go into this, because there are certain barriers and there's some other things that are blocking you from achieving that goal, but we're going to get into it. But let's just say here for this law of limitation that you need to set a really clear beginning and a really clear end.
Yes.
Okay? Just like the rag picker. He just wanted a piece of cloth, not rag, but he wanted a piece of rag. He wanted rags. He just wanted a piece of carpet just to cover his feet. He didn't want it to cover the whole floor. Okay? He set a limitation for that piece of carpet.
Right. And once he attained that thing that he manifested, then he expounded upon that.
Yes.
And then when you get that, then and this is what it means to operate in your sphere of availability.
Yes.
It's like a building block. Right?
Yeah. So boom. All right. On to the next. All right. Now this is the part, like I said, it's because these occult laws, they really overlap. And just in that example I said a moment ago, as far as when it came to the weight loss, there could be some things that are blocking you from achieving that weight goal loss. And here's one of the reasons.
Yep.
All right. And that's the occult law of binding. All right. And if you're familiar with Mr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, then you'll see why this law is really important. Okay. Any and every force in our physical cosmos is really a double acting force. Every force is dual in nature, always has been dual. It could exist in no other form than dual.
Right.
All right. So a key point here to take away is that when working to achieve a goal, always remember that there is a force that will help you achieve that goal. And then there is a force that will tear your goal down.
Keep that in mind.
Okay. So the key here is to bind that force that is going to stop your operation. Okay. Because, hey, you may go out and you want to set a goal to destroy some things where you want to bind that force that will help keep things together.
Keep it going, right?
Okay.
So you want to set a goal to maybe change the way that you're living.
Yes.
Keep in mind, you've been operating on this program for a long time. So the force to destroy that opportunity for you changing something is actually at that point stronger than the will to actually change it.
Yes.
So you have to bind that force that wants to destroy that thing, that new thing that you're trying to build upon or create.
Yes. Now, I would like to interject a little disclaimer here just to make sure we're clear about some things. Because when we're talking about binding something, we're not talking about anything external.
Right.
Okay. What's going on external has nothing to do with you. Okay. We're talking about those mental blocks that are in your subconscious. All right. That part of you that don't want you to have a good life.
Right.
That part of you who don't want you to have a car. That part of your life who doesn't want you to have the money. You have to be able to bind that part of you so that it doesn't interfere with your work. Because if you don't bind that part, or really, we're talking about integration, shadow work, things of that nature. If you don't go through that, then you're not going to be able to bind that force.
Right.
Because what's going to happen is that you go through, you do a ritual, or you go and fill out a job application and you get it and you're successful. Boom. You got the job. You got the money that you needed. Then now here comes that other force like, oh, you got a little something.
Or that negative self-talk. You don't even deserve this. Your mom is doing this and you don't even deserve to have this, or how you feel you better than somebody now, or all those negative talk that come up in the subconscious. Yes. Those are little things that can eat away at the thing that you just manifested.
Yes. So because if you've been rocking with us throughout this whole webinar series, and you've gotten the books that we've recommended, especially the one from Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, you can understand that a lot of the force, and even The Magician, the book Magician,
that is a great book.
If you've gone through and you've read that book, you will understand that a lot of these superstitions and these beliefs are outdated and they really don't affect you. But the only thing that really affects you is that your belief in those superstitions and those dogmas are the things that are hindering you.
Right.
Okay. Those are which one was the bad one? Was it Mr. Hyde or Jekyll?
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Oh, Dr. Jekyll. So the doctor was good. And you see how they play on words? They want to say that the doctor's good. See, that's how they try to get this stuff with the Fauci and stuff.
With the hide, right? Hide means hide, the hidden one. Hide, right?
Yes. There we go. See the play on words, y'all? You got to catch this stuff with your third eye. All right, let's go ahead and go into the next one. So the law of binding. Make sure you bind that part of you that is stopping you from achieving your goal, whether it's to destroy or create.
Now, and if you haven't seen the other previous webinars, definitely go back and look at those webinars, because they teach you how to bind the subconscious.
Yes.
Literally, okay?
Yes. And And in respect to that, this actually goes into this next law actually talks about one of the books that this is week 2 of our You're Magical as Fuck webinar, which is the occult law of the barrier. Okay? Because all of the trouble we have in the world in this, all of the trouble we have in the world in the living this material life successfully and fully comes from the difference in communicating between the two minds. And we're talking about the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. We went real deep into this on week 2 about the difference and what really to do to tackle this, okay? Because the inability of these two minds to talk to each other to get ideas and commands over to each other, because that's the main thing. So we have to understand that there is a barrier between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Now, in the book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, How to Lose Your Mind and Create a New One by Joe Dispenza, this is one that we definitely recommend that you go through and read, because it's going to help you in getting past that subconscious. And one of the other things that we mentioned is that knowing how to get past this barrier is, sorry, wait for that car to go by. One of the things for understanding how to get past this barrier to the subconscious mind is understanding the language of the subconscious mind.
Yes.
Because the subconscious mind speaks in repetition, strong emotions, and symbols. Okay. So symbols, repetition, and strong emotions. All right. Those 3 things will help you in getting past that barrier so that you can implant or do an exception on yourself and get that into your subconscious to carry out your will.
Yes. And listen, guys, when you rewire your mind, it makes all the difference in the world. And I am speaking from experience, rewiring that mind. Like I had a serious problem with emails. Like I when I was younger, I said 23 maybe, I was afraid of my bills because, I felt like I couldn't pay the bills. So whenever the bills would come, I'll just sit it down. I won't look at it. Mail too. I was just afraid of my mail because it might be a bill in there. So I never really, I just collected it, didn't open it. I had so many unopened mail from a long time ago. And that transferred to my emails. I will be afraid to check my emails. I know it sounds weird, but it's a wiring, right? And so I'll have, one of my emails, I found a way how to figure it out. It's just so much that I'm not even one day I might go through and fix it. But I have another email that I actually cleaned up to the point where I have folders. I have folders within folders and then folders within that folder. And for somebody like me, that is like unheard of.
Yeah.
It's literally organized to the point where I can find things by the month. And that is night and day. Wow. And that took some rewiring to the point now where I'm a little OCD. Right? Rewiring the brain. It is possible. And when you do rewire your brain, your exterior world changes. If you want to see your exterior world manifest differently, you have to make the change in the force form, which is the internal form, the imagination form, the mind. Yes. And then when that aspect changes, remember there's duality, right? When that aspect changes, the other aspect also changes. So it creates a domino effect. And you'll be surprised, like things will pop up. You didn't even know that was there. Like I started painting. Yeah. Once I went through and I did that Joe Dispenza subconscious clearing, I kid you not, I can draw and I can paint. And I'm like, wow, I'm stunned. So that is just a byproduct. So you'll have many byproducts from doing subconscious clearing and integration. It won't happen in just one aspect because everything is connected.
Everything is connected.
Okay.
Everything is connected. And just think about this. We live in chaos. Okay. And unless we learn to organize that chaos, we'll forever be experiencing chaos. So that's part of what we're here to do, is to organize chaos.
Right, because chaos is actually the natural order of things.
Mm-hmm.
When things are left alone, it's chaotic. Like you go to a forest. Yep. Go into a forest, like a forest that no one has ever touched before. Mm. Everything is growing wild. It probably does somewhere in the Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is growing wild. Everything is just doing what it wants to do. That's chaos. But it's a natural order to it. It's a natural chaos. Mm-hmm. Same like here. If you want to have a garden, if you let that thing grow, it's going to grow all types of weeds. It's just growing. It's chaotic.
Yeah.
But you can come in with that logic, with that masculine energy, and you can put form to that chaos. Mm-hmm. That's how the masculine and the feminine works together. Yes. The feminine energy is the chaos. It just is. Mm-hmm. And so the masculine comes in and puts the definition to it. This is why you need the two forces. Yes. You can't have one without the other.
And that is a perfect segue into this next point. Let's but you
that's landed at home.
This is a perfect segue. Okay, so the occult law of the treasure chart. Okay, now we're just gonna make this real clear for you all that this is creating a clear and well organized vision board. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just taking a look at the vision boards on the right here, okay? You have this one down here on the bottom that is unorganized. To be honest, I couldn't tell you what type of goals were looking to be achieved, just looking at this right off the bat.
Looks like a ladder.
It's a lot going on. They got communication, like what type of communication you like.
You could tell their communication is everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Versus this one at the top. You can clearly see that this person wants to get a house, a new car. They value their family. They want to travel. Mm-hmm. And it looks like, is that a cake at the top? No, yeah, it's a cake. They're looking to get married. Ooh. Okay. You can clearly see in their vision board what they want to achieve. Mm. Okay. So this is the type. So we're not doing vision boards no more. Mm. We're doing treasure charts. Mm-hmm. Okay. So
treasure charts like that.
So let me tell you what's going on with this treasure chart. Okay. You want to use a board that's suitable for you, whether that's a piece of paper or you want to get you a big poster board. Hey, whatever you do that. Mm-hmm. But the first thing that needs to be done is that you need to place a borderline along the edge of the chart.
Right. That's your sphere of availability.
Yes. And it's also invoking the law of limitation. Mm-hmm. So you are saying within this box, this is my container. You're telling universe, this is my container. This is what I can hold.
Right.
Okay. And so since you're saying that, yes, I can hold this, like, okay, let's go and let's make this happen. Mm-hmm. All right.
And keep in mind, when that bowl gets bigger, then you can fit more and you can hold more comfortably. You can expand it. You can expand more comfortably.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So just like with any vision boards, you want to select pictures that embody your desire. Mm-hmm. Now, real key point is that these pictures should evoke a strong emotion when you see them, a strong positive emotion.
Yes, guys, emotions. I'm telling you, you can use these energies that are coming in. Let me give you a small, tiny example. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, I was feeling overwhelmed because I know that, the full moon, usually it doesn't work on me. But I usually get a lot of energy when the full moon comes in because I was born on a full moon, or I think, around the full moon. I was born, I think, the day before, the day after, something like that.
The
day before, right before. So the full moon is usually good to me. I'm, high energy. So for the past 2 full moons, I've been noticing that I the energy is like, it weighs on me, like it feels kind of heavy. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go and paint whatever. And let me draw. And then I literally felt the energy channeled into the artwork. And I was feeling the flow, whatever passion that was in me, whatever high energy or high emotion that was in me, it was literally being channeled into the art. And I made a bomb painting yesterday, man. Yeah. I'm telling you, bomb.com. It came effortlessly.
Yeah. Facts.
And listen, strong emotions helps with manifestation.
Facts.
All right. Key point.
All right. Now, here's some other things to keep in mind when we're doing our treasure charts now, okay? Just keep in mind for the placements. Now, everybody has their free will. You can place it wherever you want to place it, but at least do this. At least put them within a box so that you know that you're really setting a limitation as to what you want, okay? But just think about this placement here as far as on the bottom. The top area you would use for inspirational photos, like big goals that you have that you want to achieve, okay? And you can use the bottom with images of things that you are grateful for now, goals that are easy to obtain, okay? Because you can see down on the bottom on the right there, I mean, it's easy to make a baby, okay?
Real easy.
It's real easy to make a baby. So you can be grateful for the kids and your family that you already have with you, okay? Now, the left side, you want to use that for things that might come. So these are things that you are hoping for to come in, like as you can see on this top board, like they got the babies. You're just hoping that the wedding will come soon. Wow.
Man, what happened to the days where it used to be the other way around?
It used to be the other way around. So they used to have the wedding down at the bottom and then the baby on the left. But hey, these are the times. But on the right side, you can use that for things that you have now or will have very soon.
Right.
Okay. So this is one way that you can really set up your chart so that you can really do some deep visualizations on this. Because if you go back to was that last week? No,
last week was the imagination.
It was imagination. But when we talked about the Joe Dispenza book and breaking that down, part of the step, once you've acknowledged whatever it is, that bad emotion or that bad habit that you don't want anymore, and then you visualize what you want to be, who you want to be, and this is how you can attract this to you. So with having a really clear vision board, this is now another point to where, let's just say you don't have a kid and you want a kid. Right. You can now use the picture of seeing somebody else with the baby and then putting yourself into that image and like, oh, I'm so happy and grateful that I have this baby.
Right. And be happy and grateful for other people with a baby. A little trick right now.
Oh, yes. Speak to that.
If you wanted to be
relationships too,
in a loving relationship, or if you wanting to have a family and things of that nature, it is very, very, very vital. It is very, very, very important that when you see people or individuals with the things that you would like to experience, you must evoke an emotion of gratitude. Okay. Again, we have an electromagnetic field outside of us, and we communicate with the quantum world every second of the day, whether we are aware of it or not. So if you see someone around you experiencing that thing that you desire, and you send off frequency of, I can't stand that person, I can't stand how they're happy, oh, they make me sick. What you're doing is your communications to the quantum world, which is responsible, which is a force that's responsible for bringing things into form. What you're telling the quantum world is, I don't want a relationship like that. That makes me sick. Or I don't want a family that makes me sick. So you're taking yourself out of the vibrational match to receive that thing that you're repelling, because you're repelling it. You're a magnet. So you're repelling it. So when you see people with things that you desire, you have to learn and practice to cultivate that emotion, that strong emotion. Because remember, manifestation needs strong emotions. You have to learn to cultivate that emotion of gratitude.
Yes.
So you're telling the universe, you're communicating with the quantum world, and you're saying, yes, that's what I love. So now what you're doing is you're becoming a vibrational match to such a situation, to such a person, to such a thing.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
So that's another way that you can help, the quantum world to bring from force to form. That's how you can help out your magic.
Yes.
Becoming a vibrational match to the things that you're trying to manifest into matter.
Yep. So stop being salty. All right. When you see somebody in a loving relationship, just know that that's you.
Right. And it is you.
When you see somebody driving a Bentley, just know that's you.
That's you.
Okay. When you see somebody in the big mansion, that's you.
Look at me.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. Go me,
There you go.
And just really get excited.
There you go, y'all.
Yeah.
All right. So we got 2 more to go and then we're going to be out of here. Okay. So this next one is the law of emotions. Okay. Oh, wow. See, the whole idea for doing occult work is to clear up or resolve your rejected parts of your personality and get them back into yourself. Talking about integration and then go ahead to greater things.
That's right.
Okay. So all of this stuff, you have to get this work done.
Unresolved emotions will hinder your magic, what we just talked about.
Yes. This is an occult law. So it don't matter if you like it or not.
Or if you believe it or not. This belief thing is so strong sometimes.
You have to do your integration.
Yeah.
It's an occult law because emotions plus desire equal unlimited cosmic power. Okay. Now, that emotion, whatever that emotion is, linked to desire, because believe it or not, you can desire to hate somebody. And if you link that emotion with that desire, oh boy.
Boy, oh boy.
But on the flip side, you get in control of those emotions and you want to experience bliss, you want to experience heaven on earth, then you know how to tap into those blissful type emotions and link it to a desire, and boom, you are off to the races and living a life of abundance.
That's right.
All right. So boom, keep that in mind.
Tapped all the way in.
Now, this next one is a very interesting one. We just got to go ahead and jump right into it. The occult law of the reversal planes. Okay. Let's take a time with this one. Okay. Because we're about to get biblical on this. Okay.
As in the beginning, so shall it be at the end.
Yes. In relation to our plane, the one that we're on right now, the next inner plane, notice we said inner, not outer. The next inner plane is reversed to this one. Okay. And we've actually experienced this on this level, but we're going to get into that in just a moment. Then the next inner plane is reversed to that one. And so on down to the end of the planes as far as the physical cosmos is concerned. So what we're saying here is that your end is your beginning and your beginning is your end.
This is true. This is true. There are 7 planes to this existence, and within those planes, there are many different dimensions. Okay. But on the 7th plane, this is the highest plane. And this is a plane right before the unmanifest, if you want to call it God, whatever you want to call it, source energy, right? So that you have the 7th plane. And on the 7th plane, this is where they call monarchs, which you can call them souls. This is where the monarchs manifest themselves before they trickle all the way down to the first plane, which is a physical plane, which is the manifested plane, right? So, which is very interesting because on the 7th plane of existence, right, where the monarchs knew, where the creation splits off from source or whatever have you, they have 2 types of monarchs that exist on the 7th plane. You have the ones that are kind of brand new, who's waiting to come down to the physical plane to gather the experience. And then you have the ones that did the experience, went back up the chain, and now they're back up to the 7th plane with their collective experience. So on the 7th plane, you have your beginning and you have your so-called end, where the end meets the beginning on the 7th plane.
Yes.
It's pretty cool, huh?
Yes. Now, real quickly, this when I found out about this law of reversal planes and knowing about the other 7 types of planes, this made a lot of sense to me as to why sometimes when I go out and about and I may see a billboard or I may see a sign or some writing on the wall, like I'm literally seeing the writing on the wall. Sometimes those words would be backwards.
Oh, you seen it too?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Look at you. Oh, what Negro.
So you a mess. Because you know I told you.
But okay. But wow.
Yeah.
That's when you seeing beyond. Yeah, you seeing the program.
Yeah. Yeah, you see it in the program, but it's also indicative to the point that the planes are really on top of each other. Like it's barely any space. And sometimes it bleeds over. So you may have seen this and you're like, hold up. No, it's the other way. Like one quick note is that whenever you see anything, stop discounting yourself.
Right. And talk about, I'm tripping. Oh,
no, you are not tripping.
Right.
Okay. If you see something walking past and you look over there and there's nothing there, don't discount it.
Don't do it.
Okay. Now you definitely need to keep yourself in check. Make sure you got your emotions in check.
Grounded.
And you really know who you are. And then you learn more about this universe that you're in. Then a lot of this stuff makes sense. But especially even with this, because when I first saw words backwards just going around town, and I've actually seen it for quite some time on and off. But when I first saw it, I was like, wow, I'm tripping.
Right. I used to see it a lot on the storefronts, like the names for the stores, billboards.
Yeah.
That's when I first started seeing it. It was actually like commercials.
Yeah.
It would be flipped around and I used to be like, hold on.
Yes. But hey, this goes into the part as far as your manifestation. This is why you can really not even this is not the fake it till you make it type thing.
No, it is not.
Because for one, if you can imagine it above, just understand because there are layers. There's layers to this shit.
Layers and levels to this shit.
Okay, there are different planes between this one up until the etheric field where you send out your messages. So just understand that information goes through these different planes. And your request to have a new house on the next plane, you already have the house. Right. Okay. We got an example on here to show you real quick. Let's just go to the example, right? So over here on the right-hand side. So for example, on one plane in the beginning, we're talking about on one plane, right? You are planning a vacation. So you're on the travel websites, you're looking at the best tickets and places to go and activities. You're planning your vacation on one plane. And let's go to the next one. On another plane, in the beginning, you are already on the beach with sand in your toes.
All right.
Okay. This is why you can pull things from higher planes down to here. Because in order for you to experience it here, it already has to be experienced up there.
That's the law. As above, so below.
Okay. You see how these laws are really like on top of one another? You have to really understand and know all of these laws so that when you know what, it may seem convoluted or complex in the beginning, but the more that you practice this, and you build your spirit of availability, like, okay, I understand this. Now I understand this. And when you gather that knowledge, like, okay, now I'm seeing the big picture and I can bring this all together and I can put together a quick ritual or put in this application with this type of vibe and energy and know that it's going to come to me.
It is going to come. It has to come because it is universal law.
Yes.
You know, you're going to like attracts like, you know, you're going to get and receive what your vibrational match to, not necessarily what you want. So if what you want and how you're vibrating matches, then yes. But if it's not matching, then not necessarily. And if you do get it by chance, you might not be able to contain or keep it.
Right.
Right?
All right. Now, we're not going to sit up here and make y'all believe that all of this information came from Chris and Leisha. No, no, no. We have done our studies and we have gotten our own understanding to the point to where we can believe something and then know it.
Right.
Okay. And so just in case, if you want to go through the Dropbox links that we included for you all, these 2 books right here are going to be pivotal for you to understand these foundational things.
And it's very, very good to have, especially the art and practice of getting material things through creative visualization. This is a really, really, really good book. Okay.
Yes. And for those of you all who are in attendance today with the webinar, you all have access to this Dropbox link that is going to include both of these books, including so much more. All right. And then going into next week we are going to be looking at various ways to work magic.
So we will really get into the meat and potatoes of magic.
Yes.
But know that before we got into the meat and potatoes, we had to let you guys go through the prerequisites.
Yes.
Okay.
Bring you up to speed.
So that your magic can work.
Yes.
All right.
So when you go through, whether you're doing some candle magic or whether you're doing your own ritual, or if you're setting up your own affirmations, or if you want to set up your vision board, any of those things, okay? Whether you want to, however deep you want to go into the ritual, but just know this, the more detail that you put into it, the more you get out.
That's right. You only going to get in or get out what you put in.
Facts.
You can't, nobody don't go to the bank and put $20 in and talk about something, let me try to get 50. Nobody does that, right? Unless you have overdraft protection.
Right.
And even that runs out.
Yes.
But there are some people out there, because I've worked at a bank, who would get upset, okay, when they're already in the negative and they can't get more.
Don't make no sense.
There's spirits out there like that, okay? But for the most part, whatever you put in, that is what you're going to get out. And if you get out more than you put in, then that just puts you in a negative. And that means you have to put more work to bring back your own balance.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
And that's not what we're trying to do here. We are trying to create a cause.
Yep. We're creating causes.
We are going to create.
We're causing an effect.
We're causing an effect. There we go.
There you go. We are
creating a cause. We have created a cause, yeah. But we're also causing an effect. Yes. Right?
We are creating a cause to make an effect.
There you go. Something like that. Okay. Well, we live in life on purpose.
Yes.
Not by accident.
All right. And we wanted you all to do the same thing as well.
Yes.
All right. So boom. So that's pretty much the end of that. We're just going to open it up for Q&A. But at this moment, we're cutting the video. We'll see y'all next time. Peace out.